यस कर दीजिए. Okay, then welcome back. So let's continue about the independence and partition. So just banking upon the elections of 1945-46, the performance of Congress and Muslim League is all set to go to prove the credibility among the people. So look at the electoral result, that 91% of the non-Muslim votes taken by Congress and 57 out of 102 seats in the Central Assembly. And majority in most provinces except 3 out of 11, 8. The Congress majority provinces, that even in the northwestern frontier province, NW, FP and Assam. This was actually claimed by Muslim League for Pakistan, but here Congress also got majority. So northwestern frontier province. Majority in the sense that largest number of seats, not amounting to formation of government, coalition. The Muslim League performance got 86.6% of the Muslim votes. It captured all the 30 reserved seats in the Central Assembly. It captured all the 30 seats in the Central Assembly. So elections of 1945-46. Look at the provincial elections. Muslim League formed majority in Bengal and Sindh and will be able to form the government. So Muslim League had formed the government in Bengal and Sindh. So compared to the election of 1937, clearly established itself as the dominant party among the Muslims. Unlike in the provincial elections, in 1937, the Muslim League failed to get any provinces, even in the reserved constituencies. The Muslim League did not get a sufficient vote. So like in 1937, now the League clearly established itself as the dominant party among Muslims. So amongst 507 seats were reserved for the Muslims from all India in 11 provinces. 492 seats was got by the Muslim League. 11 provinces, there are 507 reserved seats. So 492 seats were of Muslim League. Punjab, Unionist Congress Akali coalition under Khizr Hayat Khan. Unionist Congress Akali coalition under Khizr Hayat Khan assumed powers. So the elections had already proved that Muslim League is representing the Muslims. The 1945-46 election. Then Rhine Mutiny. This is a new topic. Or Navy Revolt. Rhine Mutiny or Navy Revolt. Rhine Mutiny means Royal Indian Navy. Royal Indian Navy. Royal Indian Navy. February 1946 in the February 1946. So this revolt was a very significant in the sense that Air Force and Navy was the most disciplined cadre of British defense system, Air Force and the Navy. And it had never under any mutiny or the revolt in the recorded history. Army oftenly go for the revolt, but not the Navy. But in February 1946, when the Navy geared up for the revolt, the main reason was the racial discrimination. So there was a ship stationed at Bombay Harbour, INS Talwar, and the Indian members on the ship faced discrimination in terms of the food habits, dress, general behavior. So the reason was the revolt had started. And one of the Indian soldiers, B.C. Ridat, arrested by the British. So rebellions shouted anti-British slogan and they removed the Union Jack, the British flag, and unfurled the flag of Congress and Muslim League. And very soon that revolt was about to spread in the Air Force also, in the Karachi Harbour also. So this was a huge setback to the British. However, the response from the other political parties, it was not so supportive to the Rhine Mutiny. None of the political parties except the Communist Party had supported the Rhine Mutiny. Gandhi even called that this kind of activities will jeopardize the India's relation with England. So he was totally against. That is how you can pull out the activities of British and India's relations. So this kind of activities will jeopardize the India's relation with the Britain. But even the Labour Union and the Peasant Union of Bombay had supported the revolt. So finally, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, he went inside the ship and he persuaded the rebellion to surrender. So although Rhine Mutiny had ended, but its outbreak forced British to speed up the process of transfer of power. No doubt in this, that it was the biggest setback to the British. British is known for ceremonial exit from everywhere. This is called a golden handshake exit. But the way that Navy revolted, the coming days would become more difficult for the British to leave India. And that is the reason why British was also now became haste and speed up the process of transfer of power. So Rhine Mutiny, Royal Indian Navy, February 1946. They started at Bombay Harbour on a ship known as INS Talwar. INS Talwar. The beginning of the revolt was that Indian soldiers faced racial discrimination. Racial discrimination. In terms of food habits, racial discrimination in terms of food habits, dress, general behavior. So Indian soldiers shouted anti-British slogan. And therefore, one Indian soldier, B.C. Dutt, was arrested. B.C. Dutt was arrested. This provoked soldiers for revolt. Rebellions had removed the British flag, and unfurled the flag of Congress and Muslim League. Unfurled the flag of Congress and Muslim League. Rebellions had removed the British flag and unfurled the flag of Congress and Muslim League. Unfurled the flag of Congress and Muslim League. Railway Union and Bombay Labour Union had supported the strike. Revolt spread to Karachi harbour also. Revolt spread to Karachi harbour also. Karachi harbour also. Revolt spread to Karachi harbour also. Air Force was also likely to join. However, most of the political parties had criticized the rebellions. Gandhi also criticized the rebellions, calling the revolt as unjustified. He said that this kind of approach will jeopardize India's relation with England in future, so call the revolt as unjustified. Calling the revolt as unjustified. Finally, Vallabhbhai Patel, he entered in the ship. And he persuaded rebellions to surrender. He persuaded the Indian soldiers to surrender. Although Ring Mutiny ended, but it forced British to speed up the transfer of power. Speed up the transfer of power. speed up the transfer of power. Sorin Mutiny. Then, March 1946, we have the Cabinet Mission Plan. Cabinet Mission Plan. So now the blueprint of independence and partition initiated. So March 1946, Cabinet Mission Plan. So Cabinet Mission, it was 3 members mission. P.C. Lawrence, Secretary of State for India. A.B. Alexander, A.B. Alexander. He was Navy Chief. Navy Chief. And Stafford Cripps again. So Stafford Cripps, the President, Board of Trade. President, Board of Trade, Stafford Cripps. P.C. Lawrence, A.B. Alexander, Stafford Cripps, 3. Three members mission. So as per this cabinet mission, a constituent assembly which will be constituted by elected members from British Indian provinces, and nominated members from princely states. So elected members from British Indian provinces, nominated members from the princely states, Constituent Assembly. nominated members from Chief Commissionary Province as well. CCP is called Chief Commissionary Province. There are 4 Chief Commissionary Province. So Chief Commissionary Province. Chief Commissionary Province. So total member in the Constituent Assembly was 389. That will frame the Constitution for India. The most controversial decision of cabinet mission was grouping of Indian states in 3 categories. 3 categories. Group A, Group B and Group C. Bengal plus Assam. Punjab plus NWP plus Sindh. Group A, UP, CP, Bihar, Odisha, Bombay, and Madras. So it was based on Hindu majority province and the Muslim majority province. Hindu majority province and the Muslim majority province. So this grouping is mainly because of the Hindu majority areas and the Muslim majority area. majority areas. This arrangement was made for the 10 years. After 10 years, any province or group of provinces may form separate union. Any province or group of provinces may form separate union. Next, in the election of Constituent Assembly, in British Indian provinces, those party will get the highest number of seats. Those party will get the highest number of seats will be invited to form the government. Will be invited to form the government. Those party will get highest number of seats will be invited to form the government. That is interim government. This government will be interim government which will facilitate the transfer of power. Interim government which will facilitate the transfer of power. So those party will get the highest number of seats, will be invited to form the government, that is interim government, which will facilitate the transfer of power. So this is interim government. In the election of Constituent Assembly in the British Indian provinces, Congress got highest number of seats. Highest number of seats. So as per the cabinet mission, the Congress should be invited to form the government. But Muslim League demanded separate Constituent Assembly for Pakistan. It demanded separate Constituent Assembly for Pakistan. Muslim League demanded separate constituent assembly for Pakistan. Separate constituent assembly for Pakistan. And it started Direct Action Day on 16th August 1946. Direct Action Day on 16th August 1946. It was sponsoring communal violence in demand of Pakistan. Direct Action Day, it was sponsoring communal violence in demand of Pakistan. In demand of Pakistan. So Muslim League, the top leadership of Muslim League was involved in spreading violence everywhere. In the Muslim majority areas, there was a spread of violence. In demand of Pakistan. 16th August 1946. It is called Direct Action Day. Direct Action Day. So, interim government. Interim government, 2nd September 1946. As per the election result in the provinces, as per the result of the election, Viceroy Wavell had invited leader of Congress party, Jawaharlal Nehru, to form interim government. To form interim government. He had taken oath as Vice President of India. Vice President. His official position, Vice President of India. So this interim government will facilitate the transfer of power. This interim government will facilitate the transfer of power from Britain to India. All the legislative works would be done by British government, so that will facilitate the transfer of power from Britain to India. Initially, Muslim League refused to join the interim government. But after persuasion, after persuasion, Muslim League agreed. Persuasion made by British, the Congress Party and other leaders. So Muslim League agreed to join. So that is how the Muslim League agreed, and Liaquat Ali Khan became finance minister in the Nehru's government. So Liaquat Ali Khan became finance minister. But Direct Action Day was continued. Direct Action Day was continued. So Bevan became the part of the government, but sponsoring violence was continued. So Direct Action Day was continued. Top leadership of Muslim League. Top leadership of Muslim League was actively involved in spread of violence. They remained aloof from the governmental function. They were far away from the governmental function. Only second and third tier leadership was there in the government. So they were far away from the governmental function. Only second and third tier leadership was there in the government. Despite the fact they have joined the government, but they continued the violence. So it is called state-sponsored violence. State-sponsored violence. Italy's Declaration. February 1946. Prime Minister Italy came to power in election after defeating Churchill. So 20th February 1946, Attlee announced that India will be free before June 1948. Before June 1948. So he put the deadline of India's independence, June 1948. So he put the deadline of India's independence, June 1948. He announced the appointment of Lord Mountbatten as new Viceroy of India. New Viceroy of India, Lord Mountbatten. So Lord Louis Mountbatten as a new Viceroy of India. So Mountbatten, that is called 3rd June Plan or Mountbatten Plan. Mountbatten had series of conversation with Gandhi, Patel, Nehru, and Jinnah. And he finalized the 3rd June Plan or Mountbatten Plan, that is Program of Partition. Program of Partition. So that means the Mountbatten, actually he wanted very amicable final output between relation between India and England. So Mountbatten, after the series of conversation, had finalized the 3rd June Plan. In this plan, he said that there will be partition of Bengal and Punjab based on demography. The assembly of both the states will finalize the partition. So Pakistan in the western side and the eastern side, there will be two parts of the Pakistan. Division of Punjab, division of Bengal. Then secondly, he said that a boundary commission will be constituted to demarcate the boundary in both sides. The Radcliffe will head that boundary commission. So Radcliffe will head that boundary commission. Yes, it's a ship, obviously. It's a ship. So Radcliffe will head that boundary commission. So at least plan that will be 20th February 1947. Obviously, time will not go reverse. So two independent federations, India and Pakistan, will be created. So Mountbatten had a bigger idea, which came out with the partition plan, and thereafter he presented this plan to the British government, Prime Minister Italy. Italy immediately introduced that bill in the parliament, and 18th July 1947, Indian Independence Act was passed. 18 July 1947, Indian Independence Act was passed. And yes, 1947. I made it correct. Okay. So obviously, after interim government, Italy came. So 1947 cannot. 1947, Lord Mountbatten was a viceroy. So 3rd June plan. AC on 15th August, India would be free. On 15th August, India would be free. The division of Punjab and Bengal. Sindh Assembly would decide whether they want partition or not. In NWFP and Sylhet district of Assam, Sylhet district of Assam, will be under referendum. A plebiscite will be conducted. Princely states had to join either state, and were not allowed to remain free. So Sindh Assembly would decide whether they want partition or not. In NWFP and Sylhet district of Assam, there will be plebiscite, will be based on limited suffrage. Based on limited suffrage. If partition happened, then there would be a boundary commission headed by Radcliffe. Princely states had to join either state and were not allowed. And were not allowed to remain free. Each dominion So each dominion state will have its own governor general, but not all the members of the Congress had supported. The plan. The other which completely opposed the plan. So finally, India had settled with dominion and not the complete independence. India had finally settled with the dominion and not the complete independence. So within Congress, two groups emerged, one which accepted the plan and the other which completely opposed the plan. So why India accepted the dominion status? since the Congress had declaration in the Lahore session that India would get independence and not the dominion status. So that was in the spirit of the Lahore Declaration. But finally, it settled with dominion status. The reason was quite simple, that at least it was ensuring the smooth transfer of power from Britain to India, which was necessary in order to understand the explosive situation of communalism. The Congress wanted to take the power as quick as possible. Otherwise, this entire subcontinent will turn into like Syria or Iraq. The civil war would have gripped the entire subcontinent. So therefore, as quick as possible, the political stability would maintain. That would be enough for India to maintain the much needed continuity. Bureaucracy, military, all will continue because of dominion status. Otherwise, British will pull all its entire bureaucratic and military structure. So the state would have collapsed after the independence. So military continued, bureaucracy continued because of the dominion status only. So it was much needed fact. And also there was opportunity for the economic rebuilding. So British wanted to have better prospects of investment in India, and that is also required for the India also, in order to maintain the economic relation directly with the British. So there was no immediate restructuring, which could be disastrous, had been made. So Congress was willing to accept dominion status. Despite being against the Lahore Congress spirit of 1929. It would ensure a peaceful and very quick transfer of power. Because British agreed for the transfer of power with the dominion status. It was more important for the Congress to assume the power immediately to check the explosive situation. It would allow for some much needed continuity in bureaucracy and army. Bureaucracy and army. Otherwise, country needed restructuring, reformatting, which would be difficult for a newly born nation. All the bureaucrats and the military was actually from the British. So if British would have pulled it, the nation would have collapsed. So therefore, as per the time plan, understanding the need of the situation, so it would allow for some much needed continuity and bureaucracy in the army. So this 3rd June plan was presented in British Parliament. British Parliament. And 18th July 1947, Indian Independence Act was passed. Indian Independence Act was passed. So whether it is a dominion or not hardly matters, but when our constitution was promulgated on 26 January 1950, so sovereignty lies with the people. So the dimension of sovereignty had changed. So sovereignty lies with the people. So whether it is a dominion or not, so sovereignty lies with the people. Indian Independence Act. Now, Indian National Army. Indian National Army. Subhash Chandra Bose. So after Subhas quit Congress and established the Forward Bloc, he always expressed his opinion that we need to go for the mass movement. We need to go for the mass movement. We need to go for mass movement. And he wanted to take the support from Germany, Italy and Japan. So therefore, Subhash Chandra Bose was put in house arrest. House arrest. He was put in house arrest. At Calcutta. But he escaped from the house arrest and via Afghanistan he reached USSR. He reached USSR. By Afghanistan, he reached USSR. He wanted to take the support of USSR against Britain. But USSR joined The Allied partners in the war joined the Allied partners in the war, that is, became partner of Britain. Partner of Britain. Therefore, Subhas went to Germany. The Indians living in Germany gave him the title of Netaji. To Subhas Chandra Bose. Gave the title of Netaji to Subhas Chandra Bose. With the help of Germany, Subhas wanted to wage war against Britain. And here in Southeast Asia, England defeated by Japan. Ras Bihari Bose established Indian Independence League. Captain Mohan Singh with the help of Major Fujiwara of Japan, and a priest, Gyani Pritam Singh. Had constituted Indian National Army. INA. all the soldiers were from the prisoners of war. Prisoners of war. Prisoners of war. Gyani Pritam Singh. He was a religious priest. So all the prisoners of war, along with retreating soldiers who refused to come back to India, they joined Indian National Army. They joined Indian National Army. Indian Independence League had its first session at Bangkok. So in Bangkok conference, had its first session at Bangkok. In Bangkok conference, Subhash Chandra Bose was invited to come to Japan. Subhash Chandra Bose was invited to come to Japan. In 1943, Subhash reached Japan. He had taken the command of INA. Command of INA and established Provisional Government of Free India. With headquarters at Singapore. Headquarters at Singapore. Provisional Government of Free India with headquarters at Singapore. Germany, Italy and Japan, the Axis power immediately recognized this government. Immediately gave recognition to this government. Germany, Italy, Japan immediately gave recognition to this government. The official position of Subhas was Prime Minister of India. provisional government of Free India. Later on, he shifted the headquarters of the government at Myanmar, Burma. He established centralized bank called Azad Hind Bank. At Burma, at Rangoon. Azad Hind Bank. So this is Subhas and his activities. He divided INA in many regiments. INA. Many regiments in the name of Gandhi, Subhas, Nehru, Azad, all the prominent Indian leaders. He put the name of the regiments of INA. Many regiments he created in the name of Indian leaders. Gandhi, Nehru, Azad. Indian leaders. INA. He addressed India from the Singapore radio. He called for the final war again for independence. Final war for independence. Singapore radio. He called Gandhi father of nation. Father of nation. Bapu. He seeks his blessing and called Gandhi the father of nation. In his radio address to India from Singapore. So father of nation. For dependence. Subhas started a military campaign to capture Imphal from the British. Imphal campaign. He wanted to take control of the northeastern India, close to Burma. So give me blood and give you freedom. This statement he gave from the Malaya province. Malaya province. So northeastern India. But it did not got so much success because Japan did not cooperate it with the INA. And also 1945, after defeat of Japan, fate of INA was sealed. Fate of INA was sealed. And it was said that Subhash Chandra Bose died plane crash in Taiwan. Plane crash in Taiwan. After his death, many commissions and committees formed to inquire the incidents of Netaji. Inquire the incidents of Netaji. Many commissions and committees formed to inquire the incidents of Netaji. Disappearance of Netaji. Many commissions and committees formed. Three commanders of INA were arrested. Shahnawaz, Dhillon, and Sehgal. They were charged with declaring war against British Empire. Charged with declaring war against British Empire. So death penalty was sought for three commanders. The trial started in the military court. A trial started in military court known as Red Fort trial. So three commanders of INA were arrested. Shahnawaz, Dhillon, and Sehgal, and Red Fort trial had started. Red Fort trial. These INA soldiers were defended by a group of lawyers like Jawaharlal Nehru, K.N. Kardju, Bhulabhai Desai, Aruna Asaf Ali, and Tej Bahadur Sapru. Tej Bahadur Sapru. So these are the group of lawyers who defended the INA soldiers. Jawaharlal Nehru, K.N. Kardju, Bhulabhai Desai, Aruna Ashraf Ali, Tej Bahadur Sapru. the military court had dropped the charges. And their death penalty was converted into lifetime imprisonment. And they were released in 1947. They were released in 1947. Read for trial. Chalo Delhi was given war cry, Delhi Chalo movement. So in Azad Hind Radio, the first person to call Gandhi father of the nation. So Delhi Chalo movement, we have Delhi Chalo movement called individual satyagraha as well, and then here the INA movement also. INA movement also. Azad Hind Bank was inaugurated. So he was the first person called Gandhi father of the nation. He did it on Azad Hind Radio. Born in Odisha, studied at Cambridge, passed Indian civil services without coaching. But resigned in 1921. He wrote in his description, Azad Hind Radio. Tagore called him the title Desh Nayak. So he participated in NCM and Khilafat and got arrested. So many commissions and committees got into. Shahnawaz committee report says he died in a plane crash. Khosla Commission said the same thing. Justice Mukherjee Commission report says Bose did not die in a plane crash, but he had have died by not due to old age. So we have still left with many topics in the modern India that we will go for revolutionary terrorism, which is a separate part we will study. Then some educational policies, travel movement, and some peasant movement. These topics we will cover in the modern India. Still there to left with. So big topic is here, revolutionary terrorism. So you'll find that there are three streams of national movement broadly associated except the Gandhian movement. We have moderate, extremist, and revolutionaries. And combination of moderate and extremist is a Gandhian stream, which we have studied how beautifully he managed the mass movement to lead India's independence. Moderates and extremists. Moderates believed in constitutional opposition. Constitutional opposition. Extremist, passive resistance. And revolutionary. active resistance. Active resistance. Constitutional opposition, passive resistance and active resistance. So you can say there is a close resemblance between the extremist and the revolutionary. You can see the ideas given by extremists and it was transformed into practicality by revolutionaries. So theory of opposition, idea of opposition which was given by extremists transformed into practicality by revolutionaries. So we will take at the revolutionary movement. Look, in history, normally in ancient and the medieval, you don't have so much width. There is one question, two question in consecutive years. There is. Questions normally come from the art and culture. But you cannot solve the question very confidently art and culture until unless you have a good command over the medieval. So what you have to do means understanding that for ancient and medieval, you just cover the class notes. Class notes. Simply. And art and culture, you go for the suggestive reading. We'll take the class notes, number one. Whatever we will discuss here. Second, some topics from Nitin Singhania. Some topics, some chapters. Book of Nitin Singhania you must be having. Otherwise, you purchase it from here. With some chapters. Nitin Singhania. Art and culture. I will give you some chapters in this. But you definitely go for the more focus in the modern India. Modern India. So try to write the answer maximum. You know, self-evaluation is the best method to evaluate. That means, suppose you have read out the entire class notes, entire lecture you have revised. And thereafter you pick the question. You try writing. If you're not able to write, then open the class notes, open the lectures, open the resources, and then find some of the points again to write. So then, again after so much of the struggle, you got some extra point. Then you write it again. So thereby, you evolve yourself in writing skill. So initially don't go for the time limit. Time limit would automatically get adjusted. But try to write the answer. At least if there are 8 points, you must be in a position to find out at least 6 to 7 points. 6 points at least. So 6 points if you write, that means you have a 100% efficiency you are working with. So self-evaluation method you must adopt. So write one question. You may not able to write even 2 points out of the 8, 9 after lots of struggle. Then after that you open the notebooks, lectures and then find out the points and then again you keep on writing. Use simple sentence, small sentence, not big sentences or complex words. So simple sentence, small sentence, that is a less complicated vocabulary. And thereafter, that will be best method to write the answer. Examiners he should understand that what actually you wanted to convey. So this is modern India. And modern India, as many times, it is better to read single book 10 times instead of reading 10 books single times. Notes should be only one note. So you have written in the class notes. Even if you read standard other materials, Whatever you find good, just put in that notes only. So you must have the revision. For the revising material should be only one. Those students had many revising materials. Their thought got scattered in the last minute. So you may not able to accumulate your thought. So revision material should be only one. So only one copy should be there. Right. So in Bengal, we have a party called Krisak Praja Party led by Fazlul Haq. And maximum times Fazlul Haq was in power in Bengal. Maximum time. 1945-46. Even the Congress supported Fazlul Haq government. But 1945-46. The Fazlul government was not there in the Muslim League got in power. In 1937, the Fazlul Haq government had formed. The same English populace which contributed to the cause of General Dyer after Jallianwala Bagh massacre, why they would care about the Indian solution in the background of election to the British Parliament? Actually, India became the problem for the Britishers. And British men were facing many queries all over the world regarding India. So this is the reason why British government, Churchill wanted that, yes, I am very serious about to find this solution of India. Even independence was not so easy for British also and not so easy for the Indian also, because how to leave India was the biggest challenge. And if it will come out to be civil war, then entire responsibility will be there with the British. This is the reason I use that British government was trying to. Noakhali was a place where massive violence had taken place in the partition plan. This is continuation of the British-led International Army. Satyagraha is a philosophical dimension. How to achieve Satyagraha? There are processes and the models. That is called passive resistance, strike, dharna, picketing. This is the way to achieve the model of goal of Satyagraha. So, revolutionary activities for national independence called as revolutionary terrorism. Yes, terrorism not only in the sense that we should, those who spread terror for certain cause was called terrorist. So this is why we use the word revolutionary terrorism. But in general, you try using the word terrorism for any individual. You can give the idea of entire period as a period of revolutionary terrorism or cause as a revolutionary terrorism, but better individually, like you use the word Bhagat Singh, the revolutionary nationalist. So avoid using individual term for the terrorism. That is the best way to save the thing. Okay, so that's all for the day. We'll continue with revolutionary terrorism tomorrow. Thank you.